Guys, we're a few weeks away, but is this impossible Christmas scenario a little more possible than you might think? And as well, breaking news fundamentally for Bitcoin that we're going to be delving into in this webisode as well. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Simon Squirts, but you can call me Mr. Squirts. Guys, we have so much to be delving into in this webisode for Bitcoin as some very key developments have been shaping up. And more importantly, we're actually going to be delving into a very teensy-weensy bit of fundamental news in this webisode as well, guys. This trend is absolutely mind-blowing. Being in this space for almost 4 years now, and things have really changed. Looking at things on a day-to-day level, guys, things have absolutely fundamentally changed in the last almost 4 years as I've been watching this space grow. And obviously my excitement is tangible, right? It's real because I think there's so much value, so much wealth being added in this space. And the good news is that wealth should be trickling down to us crypto holders, guys. It's absolutely insane. Wow! So if you guys love making money and you absolutely love a rootin' tootin' good time, make sure to leave that like below. And as well, only days left. Anybody interested in trading, make sure to take advantage now. If you're experienced, you want to support the channel. And remember, guys, all comments do enter you to win a ledger, equivalent BTC, or access to T4, your choice, when we pick a winner, roughly 6 times per month. Wow, guys, so let's actually start off with this news, get it out of the way, and then we'll jump into this TA because this Christmas Day miracle, or final week of 2020 miracle, could actually become a reality, and we're going to paint it for you on this chart. Now, breaking news, Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance Company, a life insurance company, bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin for its general investment account, the latest sign of mainstream acceptance, guys. This is how it begins. In fact, it started really snowballing at the beginning of this year, and especially because of the crisis that happened back in March with the economy and everything like that, right? It's been kind of snowballing since then. It's kind of been the catalyst that nobody was necessarily expecting, but I believe many of us viewed it as inevitable anyway. But the best part is that amidst all of the bad things that happened in 2020, for people in crypto, for people with Bitcoin, this very likely could be the biggest growth spurt for adoption and Bitcoin's price and cryptocurrency in general that we ever could have asked for. Remember, this year's been insanely bad for a lot of people, okay? It's been a very bad year for many humans, right? And that's incredibly upsetting. However, there is a silver lining to everything, and for people that have been looking for alternative ways to store their money, such as cryptocurrency, right, to store their value, then again, this could, I'm not saying it is 100%, but it could be potentially the biggest jump start to this space ever, right? I firmly believe that. And yeah, it's been absolutely insane. So the investment is a tiny one for the Springfield, Massachusetts-based insurance company whose general investment account totaled nearly $235 billion as of about 3 months ago, but it signifies further momentum for Bitcoin, which has surged this far. So absolutely very awesome to see. This is, from my experience, the first of its kind seeing this here. We're going to see more and more people start investing, guys, and that's why I've been so excited. That's why everybody's been so excited for probably the last 6 months specifically, because we've seen it kind of snowball ever since kind of like the summer of this year. But yeah, just absolutely huge. This kind of adoption is just part of that snowball effect for Bitcoin. Mainly people complain about Bitcoin, you know, oh, you can't use it, nobody accepts it. Well, this is exactly how we continue that progress towards it being accepted, towards more people using it, and ultimately towards that 100, 200,000, 500,000 $1 million Bitcoin and absolutely multi-trillion-dollar cryptocurrency market cap. Okay, just wanted to cover this because, again, when fundamental shifts like this happen in the space, they definitely warrant mentions, guys. This is, I mean, very big for the space. This is exactly what we want to see happening. We see it continue to happen. We've said it's going to continue to happen. Everybody in the space has been saying it's going to continue to happen, and we see it happen more and more. So Bitcoin's price here, currently trading about 18,400. We talked a little bit yesterday about how the previous times throughout this entire year, Bitcoin has dipped on this daily chart below the 21-day, and then only to peek its head back above the 21-day moving average, only to get rejected again. Now, is that still a scenario, guys? I'm obviously still leaning towards this downward trajectory is not over in the short term, but there is one extremely bullish scenario that, while it does warrant continued downside here, it actually would be probably the smallest downside drop that I think is rational. A very quick bounce could be happening there in an immediate reaction to it. And what's crazy is it would line up basically with the last few days of this year, guys. So I want to actually liken it to this. If we actually go over to the weekly chart, this is something we've been talking about for about 2 weeks now. Just the last time Bitcoin went completely parabolic, which was back in the summer of 2019, right? Now, back then, obviously, this move was insane. It was 4,000 to 14,000, right? over $10,000 gain, which is similar to what we've gotten already. However, this move was bigger than this move so far in terms of percent. Right, Bitcoin's up like 80% in the last 2 months, and I believe, how much did it go? I think it was over like 200%. Yeah, it went almost to like 240%. That's absolutely insane. So anyway, the thing we're liking it to on this chart, if we just kind of take it from here where that move started to here, okay, that's basically what we're talking about. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, well, these are in no way identical. In some ways they are, right? So if we just first of all look on the RSI, where were we on the RSI when this move started? So back on March, let's say March 15th, right as this move was starting, the RSI was actually right around 50 on the RSI. So it was not significantly oversold. It was almost like completely in the middle here. And now currently where our move started here back in the kind of like the middle to even beginning of October, right around 11,000 US dollars as we kicked off that run. We were kind of teeter-tottering between 12 and 9K or 12 and 10K for a few months there. And then when we finally broke that level of 12,000 even, that's what spurred this growth from 12,000 to 20,000, basically right knocking on the door of 20,000 within just a few weeks, which is absolutely monumental. So where that run started here back in the beginning of October, right around that $11,000 mark, Bitcoin is also, or it was also right around the 50 moving average right here. Now, something interesting we're seeing here is very identical on this RSI. So you see we're a little bit higher now as well, 83. We only went up to about 80 here on this one. However, what happened here is very similar to what might be shaping up now. So we had this initial top right here, right around 9,000. So we go from about 4,000 to 9,000. And you see on the RSI, we get really overextended, right? We go about to 80, which isn't insane on the RSI, but it is pretty significant. And then we see the RSI reset for a few weeks. We see the RSI actually dip back out of overbought down to, let's actually get the exact level, right about 65 here, and then bounce at 65 and continue up and go from 7,000 to 14,000. Now, obviously, we ran out of momentum at that point, in my opinion, simply because something we covered before, Bitcoin on a long-term chart was not ready for a macro breakout. If we just take this pattern, you can see obviously the 2.5-year symmetrical triangle is the pattern that broke out just a few months ago that has ultimately taken us to about 20,000 US dollars. Back here, from 4,000 to 14,000, this is not a complete pattern. It would have been the shortest bear market in history for Bitcoin. It's not really structural at all. It's the most ugly pattern in terms of looking for a fundamental return to a bull market. It doesn't look extremely valid there, okay? Now, we've been in this bear market now. Currently, we're basically at the very, very early stages of a bull market now, but we've just recently broken out of this triangle, which fundamentally, based on TA and just fundamentally based on actual fundamentals like the news, Bitcoin is ready to find new highs. And in fact, we actually did set a new high on many exchanges. And in fact, I believe most exchange about a week or so ago. But that is one major difference. And the reason I just bring that up is because after this massive move, $10,000 move, we entered more of a downtrend. And it was ultimately brought even lower because of the fundamental crash in the entire global economy, right? Because of what happened back in March. Now, this time it's different, but the point of me illustrating this is that there is more room to run up in the short term. Personally, I think in the very, very immediate short term, there should still be a continued pullback, like we've been saying. But ultimately, I do think that we could see a very similar situation here where, we start at the 50 here, we run all the way up, we get a nice little pullback within the following week or two, but then we have another very strong bounce. And again, I think that might catch some people off guard, but I think it would be also absolutely jaw-dropping if the final week of December or something like that, which actually lines up time-wise exactly based just on the actual previous pattern here. But first, obviously, there would still be a pullback, in my opinion, which I think is just necessary anyway. So if we just take that move, which is right here, this move right here, okay, we've talked about this bearish divergence and everything, and the similarities between the daily moving averages here, specifically the 21 and the EMA ribbon here. But yeah, it looked very much so like this move could have been out of juice right here, especially as it was coming into some major resistances here from the beginning of the bear market back in May and April, and then also June and July of 2018. But Bitcoin ended up finding support at a little over 7,000 and ran all the way up. It doubled basically to 14,000. Now, looking on this chart, guys, if we basically just take this price data here, just take this lump right here and just move it over, basically all we have here is this. And remember, the RSI is completely mimicking each other so far, but basically what that would look like, a huge power play move that Bitcoin could play out in the next few weeks before this year is even over, because we're going to show you what this time even is. But yeah, this actually does show us actually going almost down to that recent low that we had right at about 16, potentially pulling all the way back to 16.5, something like that, but ultimately finding support again on this, for the first time on the 50-day moving average instead of this 21-day. So the 21-day that Bitcoin recently bounced off of was back here when the moving average was right around, the $16,800, $16,900 level. Now, that 21-day moving average is all the way up at about $18,006. So the 50-day moving average is basically right down around that level, just slightly above where Bitcoin's price retraced to back at the end of November. So yet another dump. Let's say we do continue falling here, because a lot of these short-term patterns do indicate that, in my opinion here, that we have not completely gotten a follow through to the downside. Let's say we do get that, right? Let's say we hold support on this now 9-month ascending channel that we have on this chart here, right about, let's say, going from about 16.5 up to about 17.8. Okay, it's ascending, so every day that goes by, it gets a little higher here. But let's say that does happen and we get one more parabolic rally. We hold support here. This actually resets the RSI pretty nicely, especially on the weekly chart. We get a move like that. That would also be coupled with some more sideways trading, maybe for the next week or so. Okay, say that happens. This is basically the most bullish scenario in my opinion. Okay, I'm not saying this is the most likely, but I'm saying this is a realistic scenario based on previous parabolic price structure. And I think it's very interesting data to look at, right? Because this is exactly how parabolic Bitcoin went in the last time that it was parabolic back in the summer of 2019. So what that would look like basically is as we breach 20,000 US dollars, this is exactly what I think would happen. Because you see it kind of slowly trading sideways, downwards trend sideways, a little up. But then you see as soon as we breach $20,000 concretely, because we've broken all-time highs in the past few weeks, but we have not broken 20,000 US dollars, because the all-time high was slightly below 20,000. It was like 19.9, 19.8 on some exchanges. But as soon as we break 20,000, this is the exact exuberance rally that I personally would expect for Bitcoin. Say we do concretely, once and for all, actually break 20,000 US dollars, which we've never done before. So if that does happen, a rally in only about a week or two time, maybe 25, 28 at the max, maybe 30,000 US dollars per Bitcoin becomes likely, in my opinion. Now, obviously, there would probably be a sharp correction after that, okay, maybe even coming back down to visit 20,000 as support. This is incredibly realistic in the sense that whenever we actually break 20,000, whether it is in a week or two from now, or whether it's 2 months from now, this is exactly the type of move that I expect, okay? Again, this could take a week, okay, this could take a month, this could take a few months. I personally, if I were to be completely honest, I personally think that it's the most realistic. Between about a month to 3 months is what I think is the most realistic scenario. However, this is still possible. And basically the thing that I want to say that I think is the most realistic of this entire chart is that when we do break $20,000 concretely, I do think we are going to have a big spike. I do think that people are going to get extremely bullish. And I do think that this price is going to be a little irrational as soon as we break 20K, right? This looks kind of crazy looking at it now. But honestly, if you would have told people, because I was doing videos back then, just a few months ago, if you were telling people, hey, Bitcoin's about to blow up from $10,000 to $20,000 within the next few weeks, everyone would have said, what are you talking about? We're going to be under 14,000 for the next 6 months. In fact, I remember back then, there was even a time, I think it was back in, it was back in like June and July, people were saying we were not even going to break 10,000 US dollars again until 2021. But I just thought it was crazy that wasn't even a minority opinion. There was a fair percentage of people that thought we were not even going to be above $10,000 within the year 2020 again. And they were saying that back in like May, April, June, and especially after we got rejected here back in like June, right? We came up a little bit above 10K and immediately got rejected. Many people were saying, yeah, that was our test. We failed. We're not going to hit 10K again. So my point is, expect the unexpected. And even though I personally don't think this is the most likely scenario of what Bitcoin's going to do, I think it's 100% a realistic scenario, especially if we can just get that move only a few percent to the upside to actually break 20K. Because currently we are at 18,004, 18,003 roughly. We only need another 10% to break that, right? Bitcoin has moved much more than 10% in a single daily candle. So again, that's something I'm watching for, and it would be the ultimate Christmas surprise. Absolutely massive, and again, I'm extremely excited for this. Mutual life insurance companies buying millions of dollars of Bitcoin. That is exactly what we want to see. Honestly, I want to just see as many institutions, as many companies, as many people in general get into Bitcoin, guys. Huge. So as well, if you're new to the channel, as always, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave your comment below so you can enter for those ledgers. And as well, if you are interested in trading, make sure to take advantage up to $610 free in bonuses when you sign up. All the instructions are in the comments and description. Free tutorial below, experienced traders only, and also if you want to support the channel.